Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday to you. We're continuing our journey for our morning devotionals through Oswald Chambers' work, My Utmost for His Highest. And our topic today is When He Has Come. John 16:8. When He has come, He will convict the world of sin. As we think of this, we have to keep in mind that Jesus is the He he's referring to there is the person of the Holy Spirit. So the Father and Son send the person and power of the Holy Spirit to live amongst God's people now. And not only live amongst them, but empower them. But the second part here is to convict the world of sin. Now, what Christ did when He was on earth is of utmost importance, right? It is the foundation of our faith. And yet Jesus tells them, I must go, right? He must ascend and leave. No longer will He be there to answer questions, to model, disciple, instruct, all those things He did for 3 years. But something better was coming, the Holy Spirit, who would now empower the believers to do what Jesus had taught them. And not only them, but as they go and disciple others and model as Jesus modeled, the Spirit would be imparted to them as well. And Christianity would grow and spread beyond just Jerusalem, where Jesus was at, but to the ends of the earth. And this is what we remember in the Great Commission, where He commands us to go and baptize and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey all things He's commanded. And the reason we could do that with hope and surety that teaching and commands will have any fruit is because the power of the Holy Spirit, who will come and convict of sin and also empower people to have a changed life. Of this, Chambers says, very few of us know anything about conviction of sin. We know the experience of being disturbed because we have done wrong things. But the conviction of sin by the Holy Spirit blots out every relationship on earth and makes us aware of only one. Against you, and you only have I sinned. Psalm 51:4. When a person is convicted of sin in this way, he knows with every bit of his conscience that God would not dare forgive him. If God did forgive him, then this person would have a stronger sense of justice than God. God does forgive, but it cost the breaking of His heart with grief and the death of Christ to enable Him to do so. The great miracle of the grace of God is that He forgives sin, and it is the death of Jesus Christ alone that enables the divine nature to forgive and to remain true to itself in doing so. It is shallow nonsense to say that God forgives us because He is love. Once we have been convicted of sin, we will never say that again. The love of God means Calvary, nothing less. The love of God is spelled out on the cross and nowhere else. The only basis for which God can forgive me is the cross of Christ. It is there that His conscience is satisfied. And so Chambers brings up an important point, and the way he says it is very interesting. But yeah, people think that God has to forgive them because God is loving. But God is also just. And the justice of God and the love of God are really magnified there on the cross of Calvary. God cannot forgive you just because He's nice and caring, right? He's just, so He has to punish sin. So on the cross of Calvary, He punished Christ, who took on our sin, that He may indeed love us. So it's not an emotion or a passion as we sometimes think. It is a divine act to intercede on behalf of humanity, to redeem them to Himself, to call back a people out of the world, that He may shower His grace and mercy on. Let me read one more part of this from Chambers. Forgiveness doesn't merely mean that I am saved from hell and have been made ready for heaven. No one would accept forgiveness on that level. Forgiveness means that I am forgiven into a newly created relationship which identifies me with God in Christ. The miracle of redemption is that God turns me, the unholy one, into the standard of Himself, the Holy One. He does this by putting into me a new nature, the nature of Jesus Christ. Let us think on those things. We'll see you tomorrow on Saturday. Have a blessed day.